Hello, Panthers. Welcome to Sips and Skills, a bi-weekly coffee talk about soft skill development in the workplace. My name is Abby Straczynski, and I manage student and young alumni programming for the UWM Alumni Association. Every other week, I am joined by a fantastic Panther alum to talk a little bit about how the role that soft skills have played in their lives, both personally and professionally. Today, I'm joined by Mallory Cramer, a 2020 graduate from the Master's in Adult, Continuing, and Higher Education Administration from UWM. Mallory also works at UWM as a TRIO and pre-college programs advisor. Her professional passion is serving first generation and low-income students and helping them prepare for higher education. Mallory also serves as an alumni mentor in our UW-MAA mentoring program. This morning, Mallory and I will be discussing leadership development and the role that leadership has played in her life, personally and professionally. So welcome, Mallory. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Abby. I appreciate it. I'm excited.
Excellent. Well, let's dive right in. So because this is our alumni coffee talk, I always like to start the conversation by asking what you're sipping on this morning. So what do you have there?
This is espresso that I made myself at home, and I add some water to it and kind of make coffee somewhat kind of like an Americano. So this is what I have every single morning. The last few years I've gotten kind of addicted to it, unfortunately. So it's my espresso that I have for this morning.
Excellent. Well, enjoy. I hope it gives you a nice little pep for the day. So
Me too.
let's dive right in. Tell the Panther family a little bit about what you've been doing since you only graduated last year. So
Yes.
you're not too far out of UWM, but tell us a little bit more about your work and the role that leadership plays in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started working at UWM, as you mentioned. It's been quite a few years ago now. But I realized that higher education was the environment that I wanted to be in. And thankfully I was correct in that thinking. I've been in TRIO and pre-college that entire time, working with pre-college and adult students to help them prepare for college, as you mentioned. So, I joined my department and was in my role as advisor for a while. And I believe I was one of the youngest people in my department, actually. So as I joined my department, I kind of felt like, I think I almost kind of experienced imposter syndrome somewhat. I didn't feel necessarily adequate enough to perform with my colleagues, or like I would do well enough, or I didn't have the skill set or the knowledge to do my job as well as I wanted to. So that, it really put a lot of pressure on myself to want to better myself professionally and learn a lot more about what I can do in my role as an advisor in higher education. So that's inevitably why I joined my master's program a couple years ago.
Okay.
So, I was at UWM for not too long, then joined my master's program. And now with all the knowledge I've gained from my program, it's been so beneficial to my professional role. So I realized, how essential that leadership is in really any role professionally, but I've really been able to apply it with my connections and my relationships with our students, most importantly, but my colleagues as well. And I would say that could probably go in any setting, right? So not just education, but with any client that, anyone serves, it's very applicable, which is so helpful. So specifically, I learned that there are a few leadership types and leadership approaches that I connected with. And one that I use with my students, I should say, is emotionally intelligent leadership. So I really try to focus on connecting with our students and getting to know them, but also focusing on empathy and my transparency. And through that emotionally intelligent leadership, I've found that my connections with our students have been stronger. And that I think it really directly relates to their success then in our program, and then eventually in college as well. So that's been really important too to my professional role. And the other two that I realize that I use include situational leadership. So I learned that through my professors that not every situation is the same, and also not every leadership approach needs to be the same as well. So depending on the situation, you can, kind of determine what your thought process needs to be in your decision making, right? So kind of analyzing every situation, and again, not having one general answer or universal answer to solve a problem. So I've really appreciated that as a professional as well, mostly with my colleagues. And then lastly, shared leadership. I really focus on collaborating, with the different people like you and across our campus, as well as across, the Milwaukee community. But I really, appreciate and utilize other people's ideas and perspectives. And I really even use this approach with our students as well. I like to get their feedback and really work as a team and collaboratively. And I think that is really important for, any success, really, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
those three pillars of leadership have been really essential to me since I finished my program, and every day in my professional role. So.
That's fantastic. And I love that you specifically highlighted those three, because we've actually had other conversations in this series about emotional intelligence, about adaptability and things like that. So I think those all
Mhm,
play into the different types of leadership that you talked about. So
mhm,
specifically, and you don't need to go into detail on all three of this, but the one that you use the most, which sounds like emotional intelligence
mhm,
leadership, how did you build that skill? Did you, how did you hone that particular type of leadership
mhm.
to bring it into your workplace and use it to relate to your students?
Yeah, really, it was just over time. It's really, it's a continuous process. I do it every day. I realized I've been working on it professionally for a long time, but I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. But working with, the population of students that we work with really helps. Again, the empathy and the transparency is really important. But I would say my studies in my master's program really helped me understand how many leadership approaches there really were. So
Yeah.
having first that knowledge base of knowing that it exists, first of all, right? And then secondly, being able to apply it daily in my work experience, and that's all encompassing. So really having that knowledge first, and then
Yep.
being able to understand how I was already applying it, and then how I can continue to apply it. So having that culmination of that knowledge and experience is really important for me to continue to grow that skill set every day. So.
Excellent. Awesome. And looking back, and you can share time as a student at UWM, or even going back a little further and when you started in your professional role at UWM. But
Mhm.
can you be a little bit more specific or give an example of when leadership played a role in that experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say having the confidence to explain my perspective and my approaches to my colleagues, who I, again, years ago, I wouldn't have had the confidence to do so. So
Hmm.
now, like, I definitely have the confidence and the knowledge, and in my opinion, the leadership skills to be able to um, stand up and be a leader in my department really on a daily basis. I have the confidence to explain my perspective and say, hey, this is why I think we should do this. This is kind of the knowledge and the research that backs it up. So really just adding that confidence to my daily work with my colleagues has been probably the most essential. But again, just being able to stand up for kind of what I professionally believe has been really beneficial in my professional work every day. And then I think that kind of extrapolates to our students as well.
Absolutely. Wonderful. So my last question is for students or young alumni who are watching this and maybe interested in getting into the advising field, or just want to learn more about the work that you do with pre-college and um, our trio programs. How can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. My email is my last name and my first initial. So Cramer, Cramerm at uwm.edu. And our website is Trio and Pre-College. And then our program specifically is Veterans Upward Bound. So my email should be under that as well. But feel free to look me up. And again, hopefully, you can reach me via email. And I'd be more than happy to continue my work with our students on campus. I really
Wonderful.
enjoy our alumni association, the mentoring program that we have, and I've been grateful to be a part of that as well. So always happy to help out for sure.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mallory. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me today about leadership development. Thank you for the role that you play as a mentor and There are other roles you play in supporting UWM students and young alumni. Thank you to our viewers for joining us today. Come back in 2 weeks. We will have another Sips and Skills alumni conversation. These conversations can be found on our LinkedIn, our UWM Alumni Association LinkedIn, our Instagram, and our website, which is alumni.uwm.edu/sips and skills. So be sure to follow us on social media and check out our website, like or comment on one of the videos on social media for a chance to win a gift card to Stone Creek, so local coffee place. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day and go Panthers.
Thank you, Abby.